Psalm 31, My times are in your hand. Psalm 31 is a profound prayer of trust, distress, and renewed confidence traditionally attributed to King David. It gives voice to the experience of suffering under pressure, betrayal, and danger, while at the same time affirming unwavering reliance on God as refuge and deliverer. It is often read as both a deeply personal lament and a reflection that finds its fullest meaning in the suffering and trust of Jesus Christ. The psalm begins with a strong declaration of trust. In you, O Lord, I put my trust. From the outset, God is described as refuge and security in the midst of instability. He is portrayed as a rock, fortress, and deliverer, images that communicate strength, protection, and rescue. This opening establishes that faith is not based on favorable circumstances but on confidence in God's unchanging character. One of the most striking statements appears early in the psalm, Into your hand I commit my spirit. This expresses total surrender of life into God's care. These very words are later spoken by Jesus during his crucifixion, creating a powerful connection between David's trust in suffering and Christ's ultimate act of surrender. The psalm continues with a rejection of false sources of security. I have hated those who regard useless idols. This reflects a turning away from anything that competes with trust in God. Faith is shown not only as reliance on God but also as refusal to depend on deception or empty alternatives. At the same time, the psalm affirms that God sees suffering and is not distant from human pain. His mercy is trusted even in affliction, showing that divine awareness extends into every circumstance. A significant portion of the psalm is devoted to describing deep suffering and isolation. The psalmist speaks of physical weakness, emotional distress, and social rejection. He becomes a reproach among enemies, and even those close to him withdraw. This portrays suffering that is not only external but deeply personal and relational. These experiences are often seen as echoing the suffering of Jesus, who faced betrayal, mockery, and abandonment before his death. The honesty of this lament demonstrates that expressions of grief and fear are fully brought before God in prayer. Despite the depth of anguish, the tone begins to shift toward renewed confidence. But as for me, I trust in you, O Lord. Faith is shown not as the absence of fear but as continued reliance on God in the midst of fear. One of the most powerful affirmations in the psalm declares, My times are in your hand, expressing the belief that every moment of life is under God's sovereign control. This recognition leads to both personal assurance and confidence in divine justice, as God is understood to care for the faithful and address wrongdoing in his own time. The psalm then turns toward praise for God's goodness. Oh, how great is your goodness! God's kindness is described as something prepared for those who trust him, highlighting his faithful care and protection. Even when the psalmist felt cut off, he acknowledges that God heard his cry. This movement from isolation to answered prayer reinforces the theme that God is attentive and responsive, even when his presence feels hidden. The conclusion of the psalm expands into a communal exhortation, Love the Lord, all you his saints. What begins as a personal prayer becomes a call for collective trust and courage. Believers are encouraged to remain strong, hopeful, and faithful, grounded in the assurance that God preserves those who trust in him. Faith is thus both personal and shared, strengthening the community of those who rely on God. Several key themes emerge throughout the psalm. Trust in God remains central even in the face of betrayal and danger. Honest lament is presented as a legitimate expression of faith, allowing fear and grief to be spoken openly before God. Divine sovereignty is affirmed through the recognition that all of life is in God's hand. Suffering is not interpreted as abandonment, but as a context in which God remains present and ultimately delivers. The psalm also points toward Jesus Christ, whose suffering, trust, and final words reflect the deepest fulfillment of the psalm's themes. In summary, Psalm 31 is a prayer that moves from distress to steadfast trust, from isolation to confidence in God's care. It teaches that life is fully held in God's hands, that suffering does not negate his presence, and that faith endures even in betrayal and fear. It ultimately calls believers to trust, love, and hope in God, whose goodness sustains them through every trial.
Psalm 31, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. In you, O Lord, I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in your righteousness. Bow down your ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be my rock of refuge, a fortress of defense to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net which they have secretly laid for me, for you are my strength. Into your hand I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated those who regard useless idols, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in your mercy, for you have considered my trouble. You have known my soul in adversities, and have not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. You have set my feet in a wide place. Have mercy on me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. My eye wastes away with grief, yes, my soul and my body. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength fails because of my iniquity, and my bones waste away. I am a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and am repulsive to my acquaintances. Those who see me outside flee from me. I am forgotten like a dead man, out of mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I hear the slander of many. Fear is on every side, while they take counsel together against me. They scheme to take away my life. But as for me, I trust in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who persecute me. Make your face shine upon your servant. Save me for your mercy's sake. Do not let me be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon you. Let the wicked be ashamed. Let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak insolent things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is your goodness, which you have laid up for those who fear you, which you have prepared for those who trust in you, in the presence of the sons of men. You shall hide them in the secret place of your presence from the plots of man. You shall keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he has shown me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before your eyes. Nevertheless you heard the voice of my supplications when I cried out to you. O, love the Lord, all you his saints, for the Lord preserves the faithful, and fully repays the proud person. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you who hope in the Lord.